47 past the hour. 2 years ago today, tens of thousands of people took to the streets across Cuba for the largest demonstrations against the dictatorship since the communist regime took power in 1959. They were demanding freedom. The Cuban regime responded to the protests with more repression and more censorship. Thousands of people were taken into custody. About 1,000 are still being held 2 years later. Joining us now from Berlin, Amalia Dace, an associate professor at the University of Pennsylvania's Graduate School of Education. Professor, thank you for being with us. 2 years later, are there still, what was the impact, you think, of these protests?
The impact was that the Cuban regime knows that the people are powerful, and so they are now using more repression to control them and silence them. The impact has been the exile community and the international community and its support of the Cuban people, and basically visualizing what Cuban people go through and have gone through under this communist dictatorship for the last 64 years.
Well, what is the situation like in Cuba today for the people of that island?
The situation is it's an economic disaster. It is issues that have to do with police brutality. There's rampant issues having to do with civil rights for particular groups, religious groups, groups of color. For example, the artists like the San Isidro movement. These are groups that have been oppressed and have been repressed. You have Luis Manuel Otero Alcántara right now on a hunger strike, along with Coco Fariñas, who's also part of opposition groups for peaceful transition to democracy in Cuba. So you have hunger strikes happening right now in Cuba. You have 1,000 political prisoners across racial lines, across age, across gender lines that are in prison.
Why is it, do you think, Professor, that much of the world turns its back to that reality that you mentioned, turns its back to people, young artists, Afro-Cubans who are trying to just live and exist and express themselves? Why is it that much of the world simply doesn't care?
Ideology. In our world right now, ideology seems to trump the reality of people suffering. And so for ideological reasons, it seems that Cuba goes under the radar. It's not like when we were understanding what was happening in Berlin, where most of the world understood what was happening under communist rule was not a good thing. And so with Cuba, because you have brown and Black people who are the majority, I think there's a racial component. I think people of South America tend to be not looked at as fully human, let's say. And I think communism in Cuba is something that's not talked about in the world because it aligns with ideological leanings to ideas of equality and justice that are just a farce. Again, it's an Orwellian situation, pretty much.
And Professor, you're in front of part of the Berlin Wall that for so many people and for so many years divided one people. Many would think that there's a kind of Berlin Wall that's 90 miles wide between Cuba and the United States. Is there something
Absolutely.
that you think could help that wall come down?
Absolutely. I think, first of all, freeing the political prisoners of Cuba, sanctions on Cuba from the EU and also from the United States. And we also have to understand that there's also colleges and universities that are bringing groups to Cuba still. And this is supporting the regime. We have to cut ties and let the regime fall and not continue to support the Cuban regime. Don't get it twisted. Cuban people need support. But this is how the Cuban exile community has been supporting the Cuban people, is by protest, by activism, by bringing visibility. Today marks July 11th, 2021, second year anniversary, and there is commemorative actions happening all over the world. In Munich, there's actions happening in Chile, there's actions happening in Madrid, and all over the United States. We need to continue that, and we need to support the Cubans in exile across racial lines.